Good day, everybody. I'm here with a little mini-sode with a certain jet. The the team had been waffling a little bit, if we remember our last episode, so I decided that I would give them a small selection of jobs because certain people reached out to certain contacts to see if they might have something to do, and I told them that Larry would have a job for them, and so I wrote up a couple of things to just kind of openly give it to them to see what they might want to work on so that come Monday we can just kind of hit the ground running a little bit. Uh, so, Maller, I believe his name is?
Yeah.
Um, which actually works out because both of the ones from Contacts are Jets, and he happens to be the one that I'm sitting here with. Um, he made mention that a local man is having a problem with his daughter, Lynn. She was in a motorcycle accident the other day and is currently at a street dock in a coma. The bike is missing. He's looking for any help he can give to find out what happened, or the bike returned. That'd be not bad. And I told him that this was going to be a lower paying hooding job with a higher karma and the potential to get a contact out of it depending upon how it goes. Um, they know a whole bunch of details on Texas Red and Gordo Crunch, and are still debating that avenue of revenue. And then the other one here is Andre made mention that somebody mentioned that the Yaks recently had a problem with their drugs. And they've been trying to figure out more about their bliss operations and kind of what happened there and all of that stuff. You know, if they can, if it's something that they can replicate or that they can turn to their advantage, well, you know, organized crime likes to capitalize on the failings of other organized crime. So that's why Jet's here today, and he wanted to talk to Andre and maybe Mal. We'll see. But the ball is in your court, sir.
All right. First, I am going to send Andre a text or call him up and say, listen, I'm going to need slightly more details about what we might be doing.
Sure, man. You want to meet somewhere? Or you want to do it on the phone?
We can meet.
Sure. You got a place?
Um, Usual place.
Tell me about the usual place.
It is a action movie themed bar, like
Like a
old
Planet
school, like
Hollywood.
Schwartz, like themed like Rambo, Schwarzenegger stuff. Maybe throw in a little Fast and Furious if that
I mean,
exists in this universe.
sadly, it probably does. But okay. Where about town is it at?
It is on the border of Tacoma and downtown.
Sure. He's like, yeah, no, I'll meet you there at the usual time.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. I'll get us a table,
Sure. And he will come in at the appointed time.
and I will be there with 2 beers.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. You?
He kind of eases his robust self into the booth. Looks like he has a little bit of a struggle with it. He's like, well,
Yeah, right, man. You're not looking quite as spry as you usually are.
it just kind of he struggles for the words for a moment. Just kind of thinking about stuff, you know, employment, future, the family. They kind of,
Moving out,
well, not
moving
necessarily.
up, or moving out.
Well, that's the decision, It's it's not exactly an easy thing to discuss. Not discuss. Discuss is the wrong word. It's not an easy decision to make when it is a dangerous life.
Yeah, family business.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you want to talk, man? Uh, Let me know.
Yeah. No, thanks, Drummer. But business before pleasure, I guess.
I'm not sure what you mean by the latter, but we can talk business. I'm not sure our friendship is moving to that point.
He laughs and orders like a whole bunch of greasy bar food, and then kills a couple of minutes before the 6 appetizers show up of different varieties and all all the kind of stuff that's going to clog your arteries.
Yeah, and Jed is going to freely pick at it,
Yeah.
you know. And if he gives me anything, I'll say, "Listen, man, I'm saving you from yourself."
Um, After the waitress goes away, he'll uh, kind of serious up a little bit. It's like, so the thing I mentioned to you the other day was, well, it was a little bit of a moment of weakness because it's something I overheard the more important people than myself talking about, and I was in one of those moods where it's like they kind of don't take me that seriously and that kind of thing. And I was like, I know a guy. Let me message my guy. And I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, if you don't want to get involved, I understand. I was kind of drunk at the time, so we make all great decisions when we're drunk.
I make fantastic decisions when I'm drunk.
At that point, he has finished his beer and has ordered a second one.
Listen, you you know that the nature of our relationship is like we don't really get involved in each other's business lives because a lot of harm can come from doing that.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's what I
no,
thought
no,
about
hold up,
after I.
hold up, hold up, hold
Hmm?
up, hold up. All right, now I'm willing to hear you out because you helped me. How long ago was the uh, convention center thing?
Uh, Probably 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending upon how long after your second job to um, this conversation is. Because I
Okay,
imagine it's the kind of thing where like he sends you a message, then maybe like you look at it and you're like, okay, maybe you get back to him the next day or something like that. Because I do that to people all the time because I'm a bad person.
yeah. No, that's just normal human behavior. Um, you helped me out a few weeks ago, and I figured I may as well return the favor by at least hearing you out. Now, thing is, this is kind of pertinent to you thinking about where you're going with your career.
Yeah, man, that's. I mean, like, Dad looks out for me and stuff with the business, and but he'll look down at his beard. Like, he's not gonna always be around, and I kind of I kind of don't want to just be known as my dad's screw up who's just kind of riding his coattails in the family. But at the
I
same
feel you, man.
time, I kind of don't want to worry about somebody shooting me in the back. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun. I can tell you that much. But I think the biggest thing is how willing are you to hurt somebody? Your boys, your tribe, your people, your outfit, they're not exactly known for their pillow fights and tickle parties, you know?
Hey, Big Dolph is makes a mean pillow for it. I'll have you know.
I'm not doubting.
Yeah, no, that's part of the thing to think about, right? Like
Yeah.
this is a dangerous line of business, and while I don't hope to take any of the front lines, there's still a lot of paperwork and the books and finding buyers and sellers. Not. And he's going to kind of shift in the booth with his girth kind of rubbing against the table. Not exactly cut out for frontline stuff.
And I'm glad you aren't, because that means you're sane. The first time you actually have to go through with it, it's gonna haunt you for a while, and you're my friend, and you're a good guy, Andre. So, I mean, if that's the path you want to take, all right, you'll still be my friend. But I don't want to see you fall into anything that you don't want to be involved in, you know?
Yeah, but that's years off now, right? Dad's young, he's healthy. Barring anything unforeseen, and he makes some
Yeah,
uh, kind of like crossing himself kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but it wouldn't be bad to get a little respect around here, right?
Yeah.
So, God,
All right. You got to give me some descriptors here. You can spare me on the details, but if I'm coming to my team with a business proposal, I got to have something a little more specific, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, man, of course. So the a couple of days ago, and he's going to give you a time frame that is a couple of days after the wrap up of the convention, which is right about when you know you guys had this package.
Yeah.
It's like so there was a hiccup in the supply lines for the Yakuza, specifically in their bliss trade. It seems like there was a couple of people that started coming to us for stuff that we usually don't sell them. Some of our guys noticed a lot of people who were going up to dealers and then walking away empty-handed. It only lasted like a day or two, but it was enough that was like to raise some questions. And business has mostly returned to normal, but we're most of the higher ups have just kind of pushed it to the side as maybe some infighting or something along those lines. They don't really know, but it's not a higher priority to them to look into it.
Okay. So what would we be doing about it?
I don't know, man. I I that's why I come to you because I don't know what it is that you you do, and it's like if I start poking myself around, people are gonna, you know, I'm not exactly an inconspicuous or sneaky figure, and I don't want anything coming back on the family, especially Pop. And it's not that big of a deal.
All right. Um, Now, out of character, I'm trying to figure out if Jet would try and sell the information that he has to a friend.
To a loyalty for a friend,
Yeah.
and that's
All right, man. Listen, I'm gonna nip this in the bud right now. I'm gonna tell you what I know, and then we never speak of this again, and we are even on this. So I try and avoid dragging you into my shit, and vice versa. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's how it went down. That convention center thing.
Mm-hmm.
We were protecting a target. We were monitoring their arrival. One of my team decided to just fucking jack a bag off of the carousel. Uh, it turned out that there was a smuggling compartment,
No way.
and in that was a lockbox. We popped it. Turned out there was a bunch of bliss. Mention of a Tanaka. Uh, I don't know if you know what Tanaka means in my business.
He gives you a little bit of a look that kind of signifies he knows what that means.
Shit, hell, man, Drek, I just wanted to be sure.
It's like, yeah, no.
We smelled yak, so we offloaded it as quickly as possible because we like our limbs attached. So that's a method of entry for their goods.
So it came in from out of
Use
town
it
at
how
the
you
airport.
will. Yeah, and I think it may have been an international flight.
And he's going to kind of nod, and Jason's like, yeah. And he's going to, like, um, get a deep thought look on his face that he is kind of puzzling out. Um, you want to go ahead and give just like a quick judge intentions roll? Just to get a
Sure.
bit of an idea on, like, the threshold is obviously going to be significantly lower because you know this guy,
Yeah.
but
Intuition plus charisma, right?
correct.
Okay.
So at 3 hits, he is currently mulling over because like he was kind of on the fence about what way he wants to go with his career, and you've kind of just given him some information. He probably has the feeling that you have more information, or there is more stuff that he could ask you specifically, and he is weighing it, or trying to find the words, or trying to decide whether or not um, he kind of wants to put this stress on you at the moment.
Listen, I can see that hamster wheel just spinning. You want to talk it out?
Well, it's just like it's just what are the chances that the thing that you already know about it, right? Like it happens to be a thing that is more or less directly responsible from you and your friends. So it's just the way things work. I didn't expect it to just like blip, there it is.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect it to ever come up again.
Yeah, it's
It
just a
was so out of the blue, you know?
yeah, it's the weird situation. So I didn't. Yeah, no, it's just strange. And now it's like, where do we go from here? You know, man. Like, I'm gonna guess. You got rid of it. Do I ask you who you got rid of it to? Is that where we want to go with this? What will that even? When I go to Dad and I tell him, hey, a friend of mine heard that this guy over at this place has bought a bunch of bliss from somebody he knows. To kind of get it back out on the street. And it's just like,
All right. I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea who was behind the buyer. It was a cleaner near the criminal mall, like a dry cleaner. Uh, we dropped it at a Japanese restaurant, and they paid, I think, above market price. It's not really my area, but
so he'll pause for a moment and kind of mull that over said, above market price, you say?
I think, like I said, or the exact value of it, I don't know. The guy seemed really desperate.
You know,
I get the feeling that he might have been related to the mule.
that I guess that would make kind of sense. They are all about, and he'll stop and because like, well, it's a different kind of honor, but it's like a weird thing. You know, he's probably protecting somebody close to him.
Yeah, that's not exactly a screw up that'll get a light scolding.
No, not a enough to actually have a visible effect. You know.
Yeah.
So at this moment, how much are you are you up for laying everything out for him?
I mean, exactly what would I be laying out for? Like,
Because if he
do
will,
you mean like address or
so
what?
he will ask questions in kind of like the way that he does that until you're willing to not talk about a thing or you tell him to knock it off because knowing like getting a general idea of where it was sold, um, that's support like he can go to his dad and be like, friend of mine said that they stole drugs by accident from the airport, and his dad will just kind of look at him like, okay, Junior, that's great, but the more information you are willing to give him, the more supporting evidence he's capable of bringing to his dad and that kind of stuff. I do have an important question for
Okay.
the group as well. Of do you guys still have the box the drugs were in?
I think we ditched the box, but
It's not an important thing for this. Well, if you guys still have it, he will ask you for it if you are willing to continue down the line of questioning. So rather than
yeah.
just sit here and role play out the next, 45 minutes of you rehashing the exploits, I figured I would just ask you what you are willing to let him know. Okay, you guys don't have the box.
Um, I would need to talk to him about what he would do with this information, and what would he think would result from
Sure.
him
Um,
giving this information to his dad. Yeah.
well, he mulls it for a minute. It's like, well, I would have to kind of give it to him in a situation where there's at least one or two other people there that aren't like direct family because me giving it to him in private and then him telling his equals and stuff about it would be like, oh, well, you know, you're just attaching Andre's name to it to protect him again. Where if I come to him in front of at least one or two other people with it, that protects him
Witness it.
from looking like he's covering, and maybe could get me a little bit more respect out of it. They're they're still probably going to treat me like crap, but at the very least, they might see me as occasionally useful.
Are you sure you want to be seen as that?
I don't know, man. It's something I'm thinking about. But
Yeah.
it's always a tight line sometimes.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Let's say they use the info. What do you think would happen if I,
It would kind of depend upon which guys are there. Some may just take it and put it in their hat and file it away for later. Some guys may want more direct information from the like they may go to the cleaner and harangue him for information. He's gonna finish his second beer by now and order a third one.
all right, because see, that's my concern that it might go wrong. Uh, and I'm going to be honest, that place had some really good katsu. So I don't want to mess anybody up.
Right, no, I get it. You don't want to get involved in something that probably won't turn into like a war of some kind. But if our guys were able to notice a an impact from just, you said it was like one suitcase, then this is probably more about like uh, a lieutenant or somebody lower down. Like they're not, the whole Yakuza isn't going to care about one, a couple hundred doses of a drug. They have production facilities here. They have other people they can get it from. But maybe if like this was part of a test for somebody getting some kind of promotion or something along that line, maybe like that moment where they were out of product, they're gonna they're gonna lose a lot of face in front of the rest of the organization. So if we can,
Yeah.
you know, if we can weaken that person more, we can just kind of like, at the very least, distract them with working on some of their own business rather than having to hide things from us. Or maybe we could put pressure on them and make them like an informant or something. I don't know. That's for people more ruthless than me.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's not just that if I'm going to get somebody hurt, I'm going to be the one doing it. If this somehow gets back to me and my team, that's a position we don't want to be in.
Right, right. And I don't even know who. You said you knew somebody, so I'm not even sure who's on your team at this point.
Perfect.
I mean, I'm really not. Like, you just worked with me at the thing, and then there was that other guy who came to dinner. I guess was probably there. There's a lot of other people there.
It rotates. But honestly, anonymity is the most important thing.
Right. And I feel like Dad would, he knows we've been friends forever, so he would go to bat for you too a bit.
Still not a position I want to end up in.
I'm sure he doesn't want to end up in that position either, and I know I don't.
So here's what I think we do. More specifically, you.
And he's gonna lean in on the table and get his mighty ham hocks up on the thing around his beer with both hands.
You really need to think about how you want to spend the rest of your life.
Alive.
I'm going to be behind you. Well, yeah, that's preferable. But seriously, think about what you want your career to be. Because I love you, man. But you know as well as I do how messed up things can get in that sector of business. I mean, I'll support you either way,
Well,
but
I do hear Weapons World is hiring.
think that you could branch out on your own.
No, no, not for. I don't have the contacts. I don't have the capital. Dad would kill me. Uh, something
I
like.
don't mean like, competing businesses, but,
I mean,
maybe like an affiliate trader.
guns and ammo is really all that I know. So, well, that and the beauty of cinematography, but I don't think that's gonna pay the proverbial bills.
Well, I'm sure there's always a space for you on some of the forums that we frequent.
Yeah, but that don't pay the bills, or the
No.
lifestyle, or the nachos, or the beer, as he stuffs a fistful of some kind of bar food into his mouth.
Yeah. So you need to talk shit out, talk Drek out, uh, and I'll be there. All right. And I'll be as honest with you as I can be about my view of things. But I say sit on this for a little bit and try and figure out where this could go for you.
He
And
kind
I'm
of
gonna,
nods for a little bit.
take a sip of a beer. So, you want to keep this party going?
Like, oh yeah, I ain't got anywhere to be tonight, man.
All right. And Jet, I guess they're probably the equivalent of tablets or, via AR.
Yeah.
Order a couple of Ivan Dragos and, oh God, what was the name of uh, Keith David's character
No, don't
in
ask me.
Predator? A couple of those, and I guess they're both shots.
Probably. So the party goes on into the night, and here's an interesting question. Um, where do you? Because you know Andre better than I do. Where do you think he's going to go with this? I mean, he is, after all, your contact.
Honestly, um, there's
And we can roll dice if you want.
no. I mean, he's soft, and that is both why Jet doesn't think he may not. He doesn't think that he'd fit in the friggin' Russian mob.
Hmm.
But at the same time, he's soft, and he may not have the kind of will to not go with the flow and help Pops out.
Okay. Let's let's think for a second. Do you want to roll? Oh, let's go with 8 dice and let's see what happens.
Sure.
Because we're gonna. Because I have some ideas of things that could happen, but to the degree and the how long and that kind of stuff. Oh man, all right.
Did I just lose a contact?
No, he's
Oh
still
wait,
there
no,
for.
that's not a critical glitch.
No, it's not even a glitch. I mean, it would take some pretty serious things, like you murdering his dad, to lose a connection for or loyalty for contact in one shot.
Yeah, no, I mean like his decisions result in him getting killed.
I mean, that would be super lame, right?
Yeah,
Um, so basically, what I have in mind here is that sooner or later, he's probably going to be in on a meeting with his dad and a couple of people, and somebody is going to be giving him shit, and maybe he has a bad day that day or something along those lines. But somewhere down the line, he's going to let fly this information in a meeting, and then they are probably going to make him prove some part of it. Because it's like, the dad and his business people are talking, and Andre's there, and they're just, needling at him and just disrespecting and giving him shit about it. And then he's gonna let this fly. And
And
then
that will result in very interesting things.
it will, because nobody in the room is gonna have any idea. It's gonna be like, wait, I'm sorry, what did you say? And then he's probably going to immediately regret it, because now it's like the pressure is on, and he's gonna talk a little bit more about it, and then he will probably call you being like, hey man, you remember that thing that we talked about?
Yeah,
And then he will
sounds fun.
and then he will probably ask you guys to help in some fashion, and the degree of that help will be what we find out in a couple of sessions,
Okay.
and it will most certainly be very interesting to see what happens. Because, like, what I was kind of gauging there is how much, on a scale of 0 to 8, basically, how much he is going to continue to um, stay the same. At like the 3-4 mark, he's gonna um, probably not do anything with it. If you had rolled like a million successes, he would have probably worked towards um, getting out of the business directly and gone to more of like the, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try and go sort of legit, and he's gonna go get a job at like the weapons world, but it's the kind of thing where if you were to then come in there to go shopping, he's gonna
Yeah.
like tweak the things like, oh yeah, no, I'll apply the employee discount to your purchase, and I'll, you know, discount your ammunition. Maybe after a while, the some stock goes missing and that kind of thing. So never like truly legit, because once a criminal, always a criminal, and he would totally like be a contact in that way that does the same thing and can still like, being a legit organized crime uses legit business fronts all the time, and that is kind of what he would more move towards doing.
Okay.
But it looks like he's going deeper down the criminal rabbit hole,
All right.
which will be interesting to see what that happens in a couple of sessions, and see what you guys do about it. Because if you want,
Yep.
you have another conversation with him real quick of like, I can get you in touch with a guy to get a team if you don't want to involve us, and then we can just kind of see how that goes off screen. Or you guys can get into a situation where they probably didn't give Andre a big budget for this because they don't have any faith in him.
Yeah.
But could mean big things for Andre.
Yeah.
You say it with such a, oh, we're so screwed kind of tone.
No, it's more like even though he is completely make believe and a figment of my mind, he's still, he's still a friend.
Right. And that's kind of what's good about these kinds of situations. Like, Hex made mention of his plan for some kind of run or something in the chat, and it was just like, I'm reading it like, that is huge scale.
Yeah, and I mean it would have to be a very long campaign.
Right. And I just,
And I wouldn't be against it, like, as somebody running a campaign if that's the way they want to do it, but
right.
there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Did you want to also call up Mal, or do you want to just, because everybody seems kind of set on the Larry job, and the Mal job's kind of straightforward.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we will probably end up doing it the run after this coming one,
Hmm.
because if completely out of character, it's not just the gear that we need. It's also the skills. So if we're going up against the Cowboys, so karma would help, and contacts.
Yeah, potentially. Um,
And one thing, it's actually Carl Weathers who was in Predator, and his character name was Dylan. So hopefully your viewers will not eviscerate me.
I mean, as much as I love the people who actually watch this crap that I put up on a somewhat weekly basis, um, they're usually pretty nice. But
Still, it's the internet. You can never be too careful.
I know I'm on it, right? And I'm a giant asshole.
Oh, you have no idea. I meant that as me, but it applies to you.
All right. But yeah, no, I'll upload this and everybody can check it out and get an idea about what's going on in the background.
Yeah, and I'll just say that, I sent Mallory a message saying, uh, I'll, present it to the team, see how they take it.
Yep. And he would just give you back a quick like, all right, let me know if you have any questions that I can help with, or I can set up a meet or something, either with me or the guy, however you guys want to do it.
Okay, I'll get back in touch.
Yep, thanks.
And yeah, that's it.
Awesome.